right, here we go. 3, 2, 1.
Boom, and welcome to the Big Honker Podcast, brought to you by Bangdale Whiskey. I'm Jeff Stanfield. Bangtail. See, I
Told you. I knew it. Bangdale.
Bangtail Whiskey.
You've only said it a million times, and here it is, all for all the marbles.
And I fucked it up again.
Botch it.
I'm Jeff Stanfield with the world fucking famous Andy Shaver.
Are you sure?
Yeah. Well, I don't think you're world famous, but it's stuck.
You're the one that says it every day.
With us today in Studio A at the Big Honker Lodge, from Samsula, Florida, Mr. Brandon Bing, and from Bowmanville, Ontario, Meghan Patrick.
Nailed it.
I did.
That part.
Now,
butchered everything else.
you're the new lady here, or new one on the podcast. You're a lady hunter.
Yes.
You're from Canada.
Yep.
I watched one of your videos last night.
Okay.
It was the video about the dude, Bow Chickie Wow. How do you say it?
Oh, God. Like my first single ever.
That's a good song. I like that.
Okay.
What is it? Bow Chickie. What's it?
Bow Chicka Wow.
Do you still play that in concert all the time?
No, not
Why?
really. I mean, it's an old song. It was the first single I ever played. I mean, if I go back to Canada, I'll probably play it because it was kind of my first big introduction to country, I guess.
Was
in
that the
Canada.
dude? Was you dating that dude that you was on?
No. He was just a hired gun.
Just eye candy.
Yeah.
So I always think of when I see a music video, like Brandon, when you watch a video and you see some hot chicks in a video, you're thinking, I bet he's sleeping with her.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So do you have guys have tryouts like that for the girl singers, or is that just on the other end?
I mean, honestly, most of the time, it's whoever is directing the video usually just hires people, and I either say yay or nay. But
Did
yeah.
you ask to see his abs or anything?
No, I that was my first video ever, so I was not super hands-on because I was so new to it. So they just kind of set everything up, and I just showed up and looked pretty and sang. So,
So Brandon, would you like to? You'd want to check them out first, wouldn't you?
I mean, yeah.
No, I mean that's just normal.
I mean, yeah. You got to know what you're working with.
I think so too.
I mean,
yeah.
So I was watching that, and I was wondering if I was like your boyfriend, because Kenny Chesney's first video he ever did, "Orange Ball in the What's the name of that freaking song? What's Kenny Chesney? Or the Orange Ball in the Water? God dang it!
Toes, what?
Tozen,
No,
no.
Orange ball
Whatever.
in the water.
whatever the fuck it was. Anyways, that was his girlfriend at
see.
college.
Okay.
That was in the video with him. Like the girl got sick that was going to be there, and he's like, "Well, hell, we'll put my girlfriend in." That's what I've always been told. Who knows?
Yeah, I've never. I mean, most of the videos I've shot, I've been in a relationship with somebody else. So, I mean, if I'd been single, I might have put a little more thought into who I was casting. You know.
Now, is that awkward? With you got the on-screen. Now, how long does a music video? A song is what, 3.5 minutes, 4 minutes. So, how long does it take to shoot a music video?
It depends. A lot of the ones, if I'm, in the whole video, it depends how active I am in the video.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, a lot of the times I'm shooting for 12, 14 hours straight,
So-
in one day.
So you'll do it all in a day.
Yeah.
So you're not really creating. The thing that I can see is on a movie set, you're there for 3 months with the person. So
Right.
you get this kind of on-screen romance, and that
Yeah.
translates over. But on a music video, it'd probably be hard to do.
Oh, she wasn't having romance in this video.
I understand,
No.
but I'm asking, is it awkward whenever you've got the on-screen boyfriend
Yeah.
and you've got another boyfriend at home?
Yes. I mean, in the past, it has been I would say the raciest video I've ever done was probably one of the only videos I've ever shot while I wasn't in a relationship.
Okay.
The actor was great, but it was still pretty awkward. You're just kind of forcing intimacy, in front of a bunch of people and
So
cameras.
you were kissing on this guy?
We didn't kiss, but we were
Right. In each other's face.
we were
Hanging up.
on a bed and everything. It was
Dry
pretty,
humping is the word.
Yes, correct. There was definitely over the shirt,
Over the shirt.
roping.
Real classy.
He was
But-
trying to mount.
Yeah. Can you
yeah,
imagine
I've-
having that job as a guy?
Oh, my God.
Hey, we're going to pay you $1,000 a day.
Just grab her by the back.
Yep, and dry hump this chick.
Dry hump her.
And over the shirt.
Right through the denim.
Yeah, I don't know what the terminology is with the kids these days. Is that second base or
I don't
what?
have a clue.
Oh, when I was in high school, that was a home run as far as that was concerned. I went there, people.
So so when you do these videos with this stuff, and it's your song, it's your music, it's about you. But the story portrayed is extra. Like this on the Bow Chickie Bow Wow, it's about this lady that was pretty plain that fell in love with the hot dude with the abs and the long hair. But you were on stage singing the song. It was about you. But who comes up with these ideas? Was this your idea for this kind of video, or was it theirs?
No, I mean, especially in like I said, that's the first video I ever did, so it's pretty old. And like a lot of the earlier videos, usually that was the director. Generally, when we go to do a video, we will reach out to multiple directors, producers, and they'll send what's called a treatment. So they'll give you like kind of a storyline of what their vision is, and they'll use some like visual like pictures for color and just like the cinematography side to kind of show you what the look is going to be. And then usually I just pick the treatment that I like the best. But the last, I would say like, I think it's like 6 videos I've done with the same director, Sean. And he's awesome. And that's been a lot more collaborative, and I've been more like on hands-on with those videos. But in the beginning, I was so green to that whole thing. I mean, I'd been playing in bands and being a musician for a long time, but like shooting an actual music video was kind of a new world for me. So I just felt super awkward most of the time.
I've noticed that in Nashville, and I'm assuming it's only Nashville, because Nashville's pretty unique, because there's not really a place for pop music that's a town like that. There's so many people like y'all that are great musicians, great entertainers, that just need the break to be on to be the headliner.
Yeah.
And there's thousands of y'all there.
Yeah.
Do you ever feel like it's never going to happen? Or do you realize you're living your dream and getting to get paid to go sing and entertain?
I mean, I would say most of the time, you know, I just kind of try and see the positive and remind myself that I am making a living and paying my bills off of music, which is awesome. But like the last 2 years with COVID and everything, that was really frustrating. I love being on the road. I love playing live shows. I would say that's my biggest strength as an artist. So I really missed being able to do that, and I felt like my career was really suffering for it, because I've never been big on social media stuff. You know, the whole TikTok thing blew up, and I just totally resented it and like didn't really want to get on board with it. But I eventually had to, because I was like, this is the only way I can kind of keep my career moving forward. But during those times, that was probably the first time in like maybe my whole life that I actually considered like, oh my gosh, like what if I can't do this? You know, what if I don't have what it takes? But at this point, I'm like, shit, I'm too old to start over doing something else. So I better just figure it out and make it work.
I always wondered about that, because there's guys that Willie Nelson is not a great singer.
No.
There's nobody out there that said, you know, Willie, boy, he's got a damn good voice.
Neil Young either, but he's one of my favorites.
But there's a lot of people like that. And it's not always the best singer that gets the breaks.
No. There's so many things that, I mean, honestly, I think a big part of it is personality, and like, sounds like cheesy to say, but your brand. Yeah. You know, people, because the artists that have longevity and success in the long run, you know, it comes from people not only buying their music or a song or that they've written, they're buying into the whole person, their whole personality, their lifestyle, everything. You know, that's what makes people lifelong fans.
So take me into, so we're finally seeing live concerts again. What do y'all do during COVID? Like, do you put your head down and write? You said, you know, you kind of tackled social media and started putting yourself out that way. What's your approach to, like, now, you know, you go in, if you're on the road or whatever, everything's shut down. You can't get in the studio. So, like, what do you do to keep your sanity? What do you do, Brandon?
I mean, mine.
And I know you've got a second business.
I got a couple other things going. Mine was a little different. I had a chance over the last year and a half, like Megan was saying, like we had to self-reflect. And me and her were kind of talking about it yesterday on the drive into town. You know, we were just like, you know, what do we have to do to kind of almost like reinvent yourself and maintain the consistency with your brand? And, you know, I remember all last year, she'd hop online and I would watch when she would do those lives on Instagram and, you know, Facebook, different, you know, streaming platforms to engage with her fan base, because they couldn't see her in person. And she was so, like she said, she's such a great performer. She's always been out in the eye of the public and engaging with them. So it was different when you're sitting there, you know, looking at yourself on a screen and you're playing basically just to yourself, even though there's people watching you. So things like that. And then, of course, you know, trying to hop on any type of podcast or any type of opportunities to get like interviews, just to keep people in the know so they knew that you were still working behind the scenes, because they couldn't see new music necessarily if you couldn't get in the studio because there was limitations on studio musicians interacting with each other. And then there was a lot of musicians, that, I'm sure you as well, we both can probably speak on that, they didn't want to come into the studio because maybe they had pre-existing conditions out of fear. For me though, I spent that time to write a lot, and that gave me a lot of a perspective on really finding like my sound and what vein I'm trying to establish as a niche, within the industry. And then also, with my whiskey company, with Bangtail, and also with my All-American Solar company, that kept me busy because I was able to, to deal with those projects and keep income coming in, which, unlike Meghan, like she was mentioning, not being able to play shows, we tell people all the time, we don't really make a whole lot of money when it comes to, streams. I mean, if you have a viral hit or something monetizes on like YouTube or Facebook, you can make money, or TikTok, or someone like donates on like a Patreon account, right? But other than that, it's asses and seats and merchandise. That's where we make it, and you have to put it all on the stage, as far as giving these people, whether it's $5, $10, $15 more a ticket, giving the best, show for their money, and hopefully, meet as many of them as you can so that they can buy merch and get autographs and want to come again and tell their friends.
I wonder how many musicians, just people in the entertainment industry, gave up during COVID. Just like, fuck it, I can't do it. This is an unclimbable mountain at this point.
I think, I know that, it was definitely a very tough couple years for me, but there were a lot of even newer artists than me that came to town, and they were relying on income, working in bars or like playing on Broadway, with all of which kind of got taken away for a long time. And I know there was a lot of people that had to like pack up and, move back home or whatever. And I feel for those artists. Thankfully the Broadway playing for tips part of my career was in the past, but it was still definitely a struggle. And I think it was just also like coming up into 2020, like I had already been on the road. I already had a really big year just inside of January, February. I was on a tour with Old Dominion in Canada, and actually just had my first headlining tour in Canada. And we were crushing it. And then all of a sudden everything just came to a screeching halt. And at first it was, 2 weeks. And then
2 weeks to flatten the curve.
Yeah, 2 weeks to flatten the curve. And then all of a sudden, okay, it's a month, and it's a couple months. And then I slowly just watched every show I had booked just fall off the calendar one by one, and watched all that income go away, watched all that opportunity. I had just signed my American record deal, right before 2020. I was supposed to be going to radio for the first time with my first U.S. single and do a proper radio tour in the U.S., and just all of that just got like pulled like a rug right out from under me.
Complete bullshit too. All that for very little.
Yeah.
You're like the P. Diddy of this little area though, because you're into all kinds of shit. So you stay busy doing other things besides just music. Music's your passion.
Yeah.
But you're a whiskey maker. There's a lot of people jealous of that shit. But you can't get bottles now hardly.
No, that's the supply chain shortage has been a definite shit show, and having to deal with that. I had there was an inaugural event that we had done. It was the Southern Roots Lake Jam that was done up in Lake Lanier in Gainesville, Georgia. And I did that with, Lake Show Entertainment. And it was, Tyler Farr and Ray Fulcher and Jacob Bryant. And it was a great time, great turnout. And I had just had my whiskey picked up by Atlanta Beverage for the whole state of Georgia. And that was a soft rollout to, cross promote and collaborate, with them as, artists and buddies. And then at the same time, for the state of Georgia. Oh, thank you. And
not Bangtail, but
yeah, it'll work for right now. And so yeah, having to do that, and my whiskey went off. It was a great hit at that event for that little show for the day. And we were getting ready for the next step to do a harder rollout for the fall, and we had to postpone it till 2022. And the same thing happened with, Athens Distributing. They picked me up for Tennessee, and we're going to be rolling that, rolling the whiskey out in Nashville and also in Knox and Chattanooga on Eastern Tennessee. And right now, because I can't get bottles, it's been 5.5 months.
That's just nuts. The little things that you can't get. Today, I tried to order all my hoodies redone all hoodies.
Yeah.
Can't get any hoodies right now anywhere. And I was thinking, the guy that sells me these my merchandise, he's losing sales. I'm losing sales selling them to people here.
Yep.
He's losing sales. Whoever sells those hoodies to him is losing sales.
Sure.
Whoever makes them hoodies, and that's a freaking hoodie. Glass bottle the same way.
Yeah.
You're losing whiskey sales because some company can't sell bottles. They're wanting the bottles to make. It's just absolutely asinine. And I got a buddy of mine that's in the fertilizer, Logan Pyatt, friend of mine in the fertilizer business. They can't get anhydrous to sell to farmers. It's just a whole freaking thing. 2 weeks to flatten the curve my ass.
That's a huge loss for us too. Like with merch, I mean, most of the shows I played this year were in the U.S., which is great. But I'm kind of a new artist in the U.S. I'm kind of starting from square one, so I'm looking to merch sales to supplement what I'm actually getting paid for these shows, which isn't a whole lot. So the fact that I can't even get in that merch to go out and sell it is just incredibly frustrating.
It's a big time trickle down effect.
So how does that work with the merch? So when you sell merch at a show, you get that. Do you get the proceeds from that?
Well, I mean, every artist has different deals. Essentially, like I front the money, so I buy the merchandise. Label has like a cut of it, but that is like the biggest cut of income that I would get. So I mean, if I can sell a lot of merch, I can make good money. So if you're coming to a show,
buy a t-shirt.
Buy a t-shirt and goes a long way.
Have you read the book about Van Halen that their ex-manager wrote?
No.
Running with the Devil, I think is the name of it. Great book.
Okay.
He was watching them steal his people. Van Halen back the big concerts, the stadium tours. They were racking in 50 to 70,000 people a concert. There's people sitting outside selling blackmail or black market merchandise. So he hired some cops from Philadelphia, ex-retired cops, and they roughed these guys up and got rid of them. But the manager, they told the manager, they said, "You take care of this problem and you handle it, and we'll give you half of it."
Yeah.
So he did it.
Yeah.
They were selling $100,000 in cash a night.
I believe it.
Merchandise.
Also, fuck those guys. If you are scalping tickets or selling black market merch, you're a piece of shit.
She said the F word first, just for the
No,
record.
I think I did.
Okay.
Actually, I think we're a couple in.
Actually, I think you called him the world fucking famous Andy Shaver earlier,
aren't you?
Let's, okay,
So,
another
there you
question
go.
now. Canada. Let's go talk Canadian music. Who's better, Shania Twain or Celine Dion?
Hanson.
Or Anne Murray?
I mean, I would have to go Shania for sure.
I would
I
too.
mean, yeah. I mean, to be honest, I'm not gonna sit here and say like, oh, I was like obsessed with Shania growing up. I didn't listen to her a whole lot, but I mean, she was definitely a big part
She
of
was a
like.
smoke show when she was younger.
She's very hot. Yeah.
And
She
she's
still
married to
is.
Def Leppard's manager, I think.
Not anymore. They're divorced. She's single, Brandon.
Right.
That's who
Oh
she-
yeah.
Yeah,
Ready to
there you
mingle.
go.
She's old. I think she's a gilf. I think she's up there now.
I don't know. I don't think I could approach her.
Leonard Skinner or Creedence?
Oh, we talked about this.
Yes,
Skinnered all the way.
that's right.
Absolutely.
You Leonard Skinner too?
Oh yeah, all day.
See, Andy, you're the only person that nobody. She called
I
you
knew
douche
something
over
was
this
off
too.
about him.
You called me a douche over
You
this?
did. You
This
did.
is what you called me a douche?
I didn't call him a douche. I
Yes.
didn't even know who he was at the
I know,
time.
you
I
said-
said whoever said that's a douche.
Well, and Andy said it.
Well,
That's a douche.
hold on a second. Hold on. Wait a second. Because I'm going to pull up
There's nothing you can pull up
Jeff,
that's going to make CCR better than fucking.
I'm
Hold
not
on.
hating on CCR. Did I really say
They're
douche?
good.
That seems harsh.
Not if you knew him. It's not.
Yeah. Thanks a lot. Yeah, that was the thing that I heard yesterday when we started scouting. She was like, "Yeah, she didn't even know she called you a douchebag." I'm like, "Well, fucking, that's just great, isn't it?" I'm gonna have her on the podcast tomorrow.
I'm off to a great start.
Call it, yeah, off to a great start. I think that CCR has number one, they have better songs, and you can listen to them whenever you want. They have more songs.
When the fuck can't you listen to Leonard Skinner?
Yeah.
Is there a time? Oh, I can't listen
Yeah,
to that.
yes, there
They
is.
play Leonard Skinner at
No.
funerals. I've never been to a funeral
No.
that they play CCR.
No, you have to be in the mood for Leonard Skinner, other than Freebird.
At a funeral?
It was Freebird, I'm assuming.
No, Simple
Well,
Man.
My constant mood is Leonard Skinner. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I mean, seriously,
Blues.
I've been as you get older, you go to a lot more funerals. I've been to multiple funerals that had a Leonard Skinner song in it. I've never heard a CCR song at a funeral ever.
Well,
that's when you know.
guess
you made
what,
it.
bud? Because if
Yeah,
I die
yeah.
first, we're gonna have fucking CCR playing at mine. So you are.
Which
you
song
are
would you
welcome.
pick of theirs?
Hold on, I'm about to pull them up.
It must
Jeff.
not be one that you can. Think of right now.
I would play. Have you ever seen the rain?
Well, that's about a fucking douchebag
And
song.
then I'm gone. Have you ever seen the rain? Do you know why he
At a
wrote
funeral?
that? Yeah, have you ever seen the rain?
I'd rather have Elton John's Candle in the Wind at mine.
Maybe Born on the Bayou. Who'll Stop the
You
Rain?
ain't never been in the bayou.
I've been to the Bayou plenty, Jeff. Run through the jump. Traveling band.
Not even close.
There's a ton of songs.
Who is the greatest Canadian
Long as I can
musician
see the
ever?
light.
Ooh. I mean, the first one that would come to mind for me is probably Neil Young, just because I grew up on his music and he was a big part of like just my musical growth, I guess. I
I
mean,
thought he was from Minnesota.
Neil Young?
No, that's Bob Dylan that's from Minnesota. He's from Hibbing.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know. That's the first one that comes to mind. I'm sure there's others. Sometimes I forget which ones are Canadian and which ones are American, too.
You haven't said A one time.
Well, I guess you haven't, like, it's because you're asking the questions and I'm giving answers. Like, usually you say A as, like, it's like a extra, question mark. Like, yeah, it's cold out today, eh?
Now you got to just
Now
say
you're
it.
going to say, do you eat poutine?
Poutine.
Poutine.
Poutine, yeah.
Is it poutine? Is that how you
Yeah,
say it?
and it's delicious. But it has to be done correctly.
What is the
wasn't a
correct
fan.
way?
The
We had it at an
The correct
A&W.
way.
No, we had it at a, what's the place that has coffee up there that everybody goes to?
Tim Horton.
Yeah, Tim Hortons is
Oh,
what we had it at.
God, no, you can't be doing that. No, it's the correct way. First of all, the most important thing is the cheese curds. They must be curds, and they must be squeaky. You put some shredded cheese on that shit, that's not poutine.
That's what we had.
Yeah, no, that's not poutine. That's fries with cheese and gravy. It's not the same thing. So
That's
you
kinda
gotta,
what
you
we
gotta have
thought.
So
proper.
the squeaky,
You gotta
means
have
they're fresh.
proper curds. Yeah.
I'm glad you do you feel better now? Because you told us about this squeaky when we were in Upper Michigan this
They have
year.
to squeak,
And he goes,
otherwise
they
they're
have
not
to
fresh.
squeak.
That's
because
like
they're
in
not good.
Wisconsin. They always squeak
Yeah,
in
yeah,
Wisconsin.
they gotta
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know what I'm talking about. Just like I
Yes.
know what I'm talking about with fucking CCR.
No, you don't. So
Y'all are in the minority here.
So Canada has its own music charts and stuff.
Yes.
See, I didn't know this.
So what's your favorite Neil Young song? I don't know a whole lot about Neil
Unknown
Young.
Legend.
Unknown Legend?
Yep.
Not even in his top 10.
Well,
What is his number one
I'm
song?
a B-side
Heart of
kind
Gold?
of gal. Yeah, Heart of Gold's great. I mean, I love all of them. Harvest Moon's another great one, but
That's up there. Old Man, that's
Old
my
Man,
favorite.
Yep.
That's my favorite.
Needle and the
one.
Damage Done. That's one of the first songs I
Me
learned
and
how to play on
Brandon,
guitar.
we're not Neil Young people. Both of us. We're like what the fuck?
Just
are they
letting y'all
talking
go
about?
with it.
Yeah.
You know Old Man.
I don't know if I know old
I
man.
mean, I know some Neil Young, but I'm just not like that's
That's
not
not
my
your jam?
You know what I would like to hear you sing tonight?
What?
Black Velvet.
Oh God.
That is a great song.
Now, do you hate that? Like, hey, you're a singer, like dance? Let me hear you sing.
She sings Black
Yeah, I
Velvet.
did a cover of it.
And does a very good job of
Well, I
it.
understand, but it's just like, just that's kind of
No.
like going to a comedian and be like, hey, tell me a joke. It's like,
No,
motherfucker,
I mean,
like, you gotta
honestly,
pay for this shit.
Honestly, I love playing, and I love doing it in like these kind of intimate settings.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, not generally. If people just want me to play a bunch of covers, I'm not
Right.
a fucking jukebox, you know.
Right. Yeah.
But you do
Yeah.
Black Velvet.
I never played it on guitar. I was just singing on that, so I need to learn it because people ask
very
me all the
good.
time. Yeah.
You do a good job. You get the good voice for it.
Thank you.
So, is it hard to go back and like listen to your first couple of songs? Because I know, like with us, we're 500 and some episodes in.
Yeah.
So you're comparing us to a musician now.
If you make me listen to like episode 4, I'm like,
Cringing.
God damn, we said that. Like it's bad. Do y'all have the same thing? And
Yeah.
y'all grow as an artist too. So like some of the shit you might have sung about.
Oh, yeah.
You're like, why the fuck was I even
Well,
worried
this
about
guy
that
just
shit?
pulls up my first single ever. He's like, so let's talk about that.
That's what I was. That's what made me think about that. Like,
I mean, it's like no, it's not. I mean, that one's not. It's not that bad. It's just like you said, I've just sort of grown and evolved
Yes.
from that. But
Right.
I'm not like I don't like regret it or anything. It was a. I mean, it's what kind of blew my career up. It's what
It's a
put me
fucking
on,
good
yeah,
song.
It's what put me on the map. It's kind of silly, but I mean, I'll say this: I wrote that song with Chad Kroeger of Nickelback, and it was Chad's idea.
really?
Yeah.
Chad Kroeger.
Yeah.
How do you know him?
When we wrote
Mandy,
that
that's
song,
kind of a personal question. You don't ask stuff like that.
we got connected through my first manager, and she had shown him some of my stuff and was like, would you write with her? And he agreed. And so I flew out to LA, and that was the first time I met him, was when we wrote that song. And he had this idea, and I was kind of like, I don't know. And also I'm like, it's fucking Chad Kroeger. Like, guy knows a thing or two about
Right.
making money and writing good songs. So yeah, we wrote that song and the label flipped out over it and wanted to cut it, and that became my first single and really just kind of skyrocketed my career. So I don't regret it.
That is a great song.
Now
I'm telling
they're
you.
Canadian too, aren't they? In Nickelback.
I was going to say they are from Canada.
Yeah. Okay,
yeah.
so there you go.
That's what I was going to say.
People love to hate on Nickelback. You're lying if
Are they
you
the
hate
one that
Nickelback.
sing about the rich guy? What's that song?
I want to be a rock star.
Yeah.
That's a badass song.
Yeah, you know,
yeah.
Photograph.
I saw something when they were doing a interview, or people were talking about them. They were just all the different fans and people impressed that just have so many negative things. They're like the most hated band.
They are.
I wonder why.
Well, the record sales would suggest otherwise.
Otherwise, correct.
People just think it's cool to hate Nickelback. And
I
so
think
they
that's
say
all it is.
Because
I
like,
think
like I listen to like way cooler rock music.
It's like
I don't
they were
listen to
good.
mainstream.
I grew up on them, you know.
I was an older person when they come out, but they were good already.
Yeah.
I grew up in a better generation than y'all did. I grew up with Van Halen,
Oh,
did.
Guns N' Roses,
I agree.
Aerosmith, ZZ Top.
Eagles.
Now,
Credence.
yeah. I like Credence. First
No,
of all,
no,
that's
no,
not-
you don't.
I don't
like
like
them.
them.
I
I
just
don't
don't
think
like
they're
them
good
better
as-
than Skinner.
Yeah, that's
No.
me too.
Y'all-
They're a
Yeah.
good band.
The
Yeah.
ship has sailed for y'all.
No.
Y'all are
Okay.
all full on the Lynyrd Skynyrd band.
Okay. Bow Chicky Bow Wow.
Oh, we're going back to this.
No, hold on. No, you said that it was just a fun song.
Yeah.
Didn't Toby Keith win something with about a fucking red Dixie cup? He won every freaking
Red
Red
Solo
Solo
Cup.
Cup.
Red Solo Cup.
And let's not forget Honky Tonk Badonka Donk.
Yeah, yeah.
You know?
Yes.
Those are the kind of songs.
Yeah, I mean it was just a catchy, fun, up tempo song, and that was what I needed to get people's attention and get on the radar. And so, you know, it served its purpose. It served its purpose well. I just, you know, I think for me it's more so not so much as an artist, but as a songwriter who really, like, you know, I forget who it was that said this. This was an older writer had said to my fiance. He said, you know, you'll be buried with your best songs, and that's because, you know, radio doesn't leave a lot of room for the heavier stuff, the stuff that's a little more in depth. And so, you know, that song, I'm not gonna be like, yeah, look at this song I wrote called Bow Chicka Wow. It's super deep, you know.
You think that Elvis Presley had Trouble, and then Travis Tritt did too.
Yeah.
And that's my
Yeah.
favorite Travis Tritt song. I mean, I know a lot of Travis music, but that's my favorite song of his.
Yeah.
Because it's catchy.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta. Some of it is ego. I think honestly, it's like you want to write the coolest songs and you want to be creative and everything.
I gave you a tune that can make you a hit. I'm telling you. She's got a big ass, small breast, and a bad attitude. That right there is a perfect song. I'm telling you.
Goodness, Jeff.
We'll have to write it.
I'm telling you, you need to write
Goodness.
that, make a deal. Toby Keith had a chance. He didn't want it. It could be yours, Brandon. It could be the next.
I will write it.
She's got a small breast, a big ass, and a bad attitude.
Okay.
I think I can do it.
There you go. I mean, that's
I
it.
mean, I think if there's anybody that could pull it off, but it's you.
There you go. I'm telling you. See you shaking your ass on TV. I'll be like, yeah, I knew about that song. I gave it to him.
So this is a kind of a segue. The video I saw of you were kicking a guy out of your concert
Yeah,
because of breast.
because of breasts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He had breast.
He told you, he shouted at you,
Yeah.
show me your boobies.
yeah.
And you were like,
Show me your boobies.
He actually said tits.
me your
well,
titties.
You know,
You guys say
I was
titties.
kind of cuting it up
Is
a
that
little
Yeah.
bit.
bad?
Fuck yeah, it's bad,
It was.
Jeff.
It was that because here's why. Because I'm trying to perform. I'm trying to introduce a song, and this drunk asshole is repeatedly, obnoxiously screaming that at me.
Right.
And I've ignored it before. It's not the first time. It's not even the 10th or 15th time some guy has done that. And you know what? That night, he just caught me on the wrong night. It pissed me off. He was being disrespectful. He was disrupting the show. He clearly wanted my attention, and so I gave it to him. And I told him to get the fuck out.
She makes it sound not that good then. But I mean,
Yeah.
I was thinking like the chick in Wilson Phillips, the rather large chick. There's nobody ever said that to her. She would like that, you know?
She wasn't having a
No.
she
Yeah.
wasn't having a Rodney Carrington moment.
No.
Yeah.
But I mean, when you think about it, like, I don't think that I don't think Aaron Lewis is going to go play in front of people and they're like, show me your cock. Like,
Yeah.
you're probably not going to get that
Tommy
whole
Lee,
lot.
Tommy Lee had that probably happen to him more than once.
Well, he probably did show him.
No shit. He's pretty proud of his. And if I had his, I'd be proud of it too.
But I can like that would it's degrading. It's like motherfucker.
degrading.
Here
It's like,
I am.
I'm up here trying to introduce a song. You know, I've spent years and blood, sweat, and tears
Right.
to, you know, become a great performer, to write great songs, to put on this show. and you have completely diminished what I do to a pair of tits.
Boy, you called him out in front of everybody. Wow.
And quite frankly, sir, you did not pay enough for your ticket to see these puppies. So, get the fuck out.
Is that what you said to him?
I said, get the fuck out. I said, I dropped a lot of F-bombs.
You turned on the lights and everything, didn't you?
Yeah, well, because when he wouldn't, I finally was like, all right, you know what? I'm like, who said that?
Fuck it.
Crickets.
I bet that fucker.
And I was like, turn the lights on. And everybody starts pointing at this guy.
Him.
Like, totally throws him under the bus.
Asshole.
And I was like, you get the fuck out.
Can you put that on the screen? I would love to see this. You know what? I'm the asshole that says a lot of shit that if I got called out like that, I'd be like, oh, fuck. But if I was with my buddies that did it, I'd be giving them shit the whole fucking time forever.
Yeah. She done booted your ass out.
I think he got a little redneck justice in the parking lot after that.
Really?
That's what I heard, yeah. They didn't like it.
Somebody that listens to this, because we have a lot of people that listen to this a lot of different places.
They're going to know them.
And they're redneck. There's going to be somebody that's going to know. That's old Jim that works goddamn down there at Ace Hardware.
No, one of his ex-girlfriends sent me a DM, actually. It was like, yeah, I used to date this guy. He's a total douche. And we all loved that you called him out. I was like, cool.
It's all over a pair of sweater puppies.
Yeah.
Gosh almighty.
That is...
But I'm telling you, though, there's some women that they're not going to get that to. So...
True, yeah.
I don't know. I bet Shania Twain gets plenty of that.
An attractive woman does, but I'm telling you, the big chick at Wilson Phillips never got. Nobody ever hollered that shit. Or Mama Cass. Nobody ever hollered Mama Cass to show shit.
Well, different strokes for different folks. Oh God,
Well, there probably is somebody out there that would. Yes.
Oh boy.
Who said that?
Uh oh.
Shit.
Oh fuck.
Admit to it. You get the fuck out.
There it is. You can leave.
Get the fuck out. I did not fucking work my whole entire life and be broke and sad to have some dipshit drunk in the audience telling me to show him his tits at a fucking strip club. Get the fuck out.
Oh shit.
I'm embarrassed for
I was
the guy.
waiting for the high kick.
Honesty, country music, and honesty and stories and have some music, have a good time. You are welcome here.
There it is.
She's not fucking welcome here. I work too damn hard, motherfucker. Fuck you.
Woo!
I'm embarrassed for that poor guy.
Cut his balls off.
She went on.
Wow.
Oh, boy. Yep.
What was
There
that
it is.
like? Like when you walked off stage, when it's all said and done.
Honestly, in the moment, I just saw red. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, you can if
Oh,
you
I can
listen
tell.
to it, I was like kind of stumbling over my words. Like I was so pissed off. There were a sequence of other events that had happened already in that night that had kind of like our opener had gone on super late, so we were already getting on stage late, which pissed me off because we'd lost a good chunk of the audience because it was late at night and people had been there drinking since noon. And so I was already kind of frustrated, and yeah, it just hit me the wrong way. And when I got off stage, I was mostly just, honestly, I was just kind of sad. Like it just bummed me out because it's like it just kind of
Not near as sad as he was.
not as sad as he was. That's true, but it was just like I was like, man, is that like really what these guys think about me when I'm up there like pouring my fucking heart out and trying to put on a show? Is like, oh, I just want to see her tits.
Yeah.
She makes me feel completely bad now because I'm thinking I could have been that guy in this dog. I was thinking she's hot.
So how much do you hear the audience like when they yell stuff at you? What, good or bad? Like how much do you hear it?
Well, so like most of the time when I'm playing now, I wear like in-ear monitors. I usually end up pulling one ear out so that I can hear the audience because, like, I mean, 99% of the time people are being nice and like, saying good things. So I also just like to be able to. I want to hear the audience too because it gives you that energy too. Like you can feed off that energy, and if I keep both my ears in, then it's kind of muffled out. But yeah, I mean, I hear most of what's going on.
There's only two places you can heckle the entertainer: a wrestling match and a comedy club. That's it.
Yeah.
You go see a shitty comedian and you heckle his ass. That's part of the show.
That's part of the show, yeah.
Either be funnier or don't get up there.
Right.
But in a wrestling deal. But when you pay money to go see someone sing, and everybody's been to a rodeo or somewhere that they had a horrible fucking singer.
Yeah.
I mean, it happens. But you don't heckle the poor fucker. He's got at least the balls to get up there and try to do it.
That's right. And I had the lady balls to get up there and sing my songs,
Yeah, I'm still embarrassed for myself and that guy. I really am. I'm just... that poor fucker. Wow. God. His buddies gave him shit forever. He went to work Monday morning and everybody at work already knew about it. Heard you got thrown out of a fucking concert the other night, dickhead.
Yeah.
So what's harder? What's harder? Is it harder to get up on stage and do like a live performance, or is it harder to like open your heart, show people, write a song, and then present that to people? That's a little piece of your soul.
Like, do you, well,
You mean like a writer's round,
like,
maybe?
yeah,
or-
do you mean like in a writer's round kind of thing?
I
or
mean, like say you've got a finished song and you're like, it's a piece of you, and presenting that to a group of strangers for the first time. Is
Yeah,
that
that's-
hard?
that's
or is,
harder.
That's harder.
I mean, when I'm playing my live show, generally I'm playing stuff that's already released.
You're right.
You know, and it's like it's been vetted, so to
Right,
speak.
right,
you know,
yeah.
the team have all decided we think it's worthy.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like I'm getting up there and I'm putting on somewhat of like a polished performance. But
Right.
like if I go and play like a writer's round where I'm like, all right, I got this new song,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna try it out, and it's like you're waiting on that raw reaction from the audience, and it's like either people, you know, get up and go get a beer or go to the bathroom, or they talk, or sometimes everybody shuts up and you get their attention, and it's like that's what we call it the Nashville nod. When everybody shuts up
Yeah.
and listens,
That's a good-
sometime, or you get a cheer by the end of the first chorus, like that kind of feeling is, I mean, that's crazy.
It's vindication.
Adrenaline. It's just like, because, you know, when you write your own songs, you're most likely writing your own story and
Sure.
something that you've experienced. So it's very personal. And I mean, your whole like sense of self is wrapped up in that
Right.
song in a lot of ways. So
You said something earlier. You said that your worst songs are the one that you take to your grave, or
Your
the,
best
Your
songs.
best songs are what you do. So the ones that, okay, when I go see David Allan Coe, and I'm assuming he's still alive. I've been-
With a
just be-
terrible hairpiece.
Yeah.
but when I go see David Allan Coe, I want to hear his music from the 70s and 80s.
yeah,
I don't want to go hear anything new he's done.
right.
Somebody I knew went and seen Steve Miller Band 10 years ago, and they didn't play jet airplane
Yeah.
and the Joker. Mm-hmm. They didn't play none of his old shit. Well, that's
Yeah.
what people are going to see. They don't hear his new shit.
Yeah, it's tough, and actually to go back to Pow Chicka Wow Wow, it's like one of those things, like when you're the artist, you always want to play, you get tired of playing the same songs
sure that's
over and
true.
over again, you know, and you want to try out new stuff because you're excited about it, but you have to remember, like, it's not just about you. These people paid to come and see you, and if you've got hits, like, you got to play the hits. I mean, that's just standard. If you're not playing the hits, it's kind of
Yeah.
a dick move.
I wouldn't pay 37 cents to see Garth Brooks. I wouldn't. Can't stand the guy. He can take. You can. He's a Canadian, I think. Anyways, Garth Brooks. But if I went to see him, I don't want to see none of his new shit. I want to see
Yeah.
the stuff from his first
You want to
two,
hear Friends in Low Places,
the first two albums.
Thunder
That's it.
Rolls, yeah.
I don't even care about that.
Dance.
Yeah.
The dance.
The Dance,
The best
yeah.
song he ever
Best
did.
ever did.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Now,
Now
that's
I
been
like
at a lot
Garth.
of funerals.
I like Garth Brooks.
Well, we're not surprised.
Jeff, yeah, no shit.
He
That
also
is-
likes
Yeah.
CCR at the, at the
little bitch
funeral.
like CCR also likes Garth
CCR at the
Brooks. Like,
funeral.
go fucking figure, right?
He is a hell of an entertainer. I'll say
For
that.
sure.
Better than George Strait.
Ain't nobody hollering at Trish. They want to see her boobs either. So we're just
Well-
gonna put that out there.
Maybe in her younger days.
Look at that. Who's David Allan Coe trying to fool with that hairpiece? That's,
Oh my
That
god.
is ridiculous.
Oh no.
I mean, come on.
Is
That son of a bitch is
wow.
badass, though. I'm telling you right now.
That's terrible.
That's
One
his
of the-
hairpiece, really?
Do you think
that's a
that's real?
wig.
That's
That's a
got to be a
wig.
wig. That's like a Halloween wig.
It's a terrible. That is. He went to Halloween Town or whatever and picked that up.
Wow.
That is awful.
One of the greatest.
You're not fooling anybody.
One
with
of the
that, David.
greatest ever. He is.
Why
Yeah.
do you say that, Jeff?
He had great music.
Well, he was a great, you know,
Come to Boston. What
Yeah.
a great song.
one of my favorite I used to sing from him all the time when I would do like open mic stuff was just If That Ain't Country.
That's a damn good song.
And it's
Yeah.
just like the story behind it. Like I
That's
love
poor
story.
people.
Yeah, you know, and it's so raw and so authentic.
I like the song.
The Ride.
No, that the ride is
Yes.
that's one of the few songs I know all the words to.
Did he
Michelle
write,
always
did he
gets
write
on to
that
me.
song?
I don't
The
know.
Ride? I can check it out.
Probably
I'm
Dean
not sure.
Dillon if I was guessing.
Yeah, Dean Dillon.
Shoot, D. Dylan's man, he's written so many great songs.
but
Yep.
over 50.
Tennessee
or-
Whiskey, and that was David Allan Coe's
That- so,
first.
yeah, you know, it's funny. I have that conversation with people a lot of times, and they'll be like, they think about Chris Stapleton. I'm like, no. I said David Allan Coe did it.
George
George
Jones.
Jones did
Right.
it.
Yep.
Then,
Yeah.
and that's the same thing with you know, like with Darius Rucker and Wagon Wheel.
That's a great song.
Old
Yeah.
Crow.
But you know, Bob Dylan was the original.
Yep.
He wrote that.
Yeah, and then
With-
the guy, the lead of Oh Crow
Cash.
came.
Cash
Cash, yeah,
Secor.
yeah, he came and finished the third. I think
Yep.
it was the third verse.
Yep.
And then at which point, then they cut it. Which, in my opinion, their version was the best version.
Oh yeah.
And
That's
then,
what
and then
everybody
Derek-
out in the country says.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is. I mean, it was just because it was that old Kentucky, you know,
It was like bluegrass.
bluegrass. Yeah.
Good music, and anytime I think that if someone does one of your songs or a cover by who sang Black Velvet the first time?
It's Atlanta Miles,
I don't even know who that is.
Canadian.
Well, there you go. Y'all stick together.
There it goes again. This says Gary Gentry. The song was written by Gary Gentry.
Yeah, she didn't write it, but
JB
that's who cut
Detterline?
it first.
Huh?
Atlanta Miles is just who
No,
cut it.
no,
She
no.
didn't
He's
write
talking
it.
about
The Ride.
Oh,
the Ride.
oh,
the
oh,
Ride.
sorry,
No,
yeah,
no,
yeah.
I'm sorry.
But
Yeah, I
Black
was going
Velvet
back
is
to
a
that.
song that lady. A lot of people have done that song. It's a great tune.
Yeah, it was a thing through the Junos. I was nominated for a Juno, which is it's like a Canadian Grammy. Is the best way to describe it.
I actually had figured that out by the time you said
Yeah,
that.
and they do this thing called the Juno 360 session or something like that, and basically they have newer Juno-nominated artists will go back and do covers of Juno award-winning songs from like previous years. And so when I went and looked through the list, that was always one that I loved since I was a kid. My mom used to play it all the time, and so I just did that. And I mean, it was just like this session that we did. And I didn't really expect it to blow up. And then when I first got on TikTok, my friend who helps me with my social media stuff, she's like, we should post a clip of this. And it just like blew up overnight. I mean, I got like, I don't know, it was like 50,000 followers overnight and like went up over 1 million views. Like it was crazy. And then it just kind of like went from there. And now it's become a thing that everybody's talking about.
But that to me, that is the most humbling thing for an artist is have someone else do your stuff.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean, that means you've done something really good.
I mean, I get tagged in videos sometimes of like younger female artists covering my stuff, and it's like that's so crazy to me that somebody's covering me, you know?
Right.
So, have you met the little gal from I can't remember the little town in Texas? Oh shit, the one that dumped Blake Shelton.
Miranda Lambert.
Miranda
Lambert.
Lambert.
Yes.
I mean, I've met her very quickly in passing a few times. My fiance and her are on the same label, but I don't know
She's
her.
very good.
Oh, she's amazing.
She's
a badass for sure.
She is, and you know, I'm going to catch shit with this, but nobody cares because everybody hates George W. Bush now. But the Dixie Chicks were very talented,
Oh yeah,
But-
no question.
They were 100%.
but very stupid.
Yeah.
But very,
Poor
very, very
decisions.
good.
Poor
Oh,
decisions.
piss poor decisions.
What exactly did they say?
They trashed
What was-
George
I
Bush
mean, I
and
remember that.
Britain.
It was
They said they were like ashamed that
We're
he was
ashamed
his
that he's from
president.
Texas and they're from
Yeah,
president or something.
that's right,
They
yeah.
fucked up. They trashed Texas and
Yeah.
the president. At the time, we thought George Bush was a good guy, so we all liked him. Now we would all stand up and agree with him.
see
Yeah.
there. Now you would welcome the Dixie Chicks in here and be
Well,
like,
I don't know
well,
about all
you
that
were
shit.
right.
Well, until
But she
they
was
changed
really
their
good.
name to the Chicks.
Chicks. Yeah. I was going to say.
What
Oh, yeah.
about?
I think that was even dumber.
'Cause
Lady
Dixie is
Antebellum
bad.
changed their name
To Lady A.
Lady A.
And then they got ostracized because it was like a black
Like,
person.
Also, like
Yeah.
we all know what the A stands for.
Yeah, like who are you fooling here?
You're not
Yeah.
fooling anybody.
Yeah.
And now you've like stolen a name from a black
Another-
artist.
A black artist. But Black Lives Matter.
That's what
Yeah.
you get. That's what you get.
I don't.
Oh, I didn't know
underst-
this. It
I
was
don't-
they stole a name from a
No,
black
no.
artist.
So there's a black
No.
artist, a female artist.
Name
Who goes
Lady
by
A.
And
Lady
she-
A.
Lady A.
Yeah.
And so she made this big stink during the BLM movement.
Yeah.
And then it just steamrolled.
It was just kind of ironic that they made this big deal about changing their name to Lady A to avoid being racist, and in the process,
become racist.
essentially stole a name from a black artist.
That black person doesn't need that name. It's us now.
Yeah.
What's
Yeah.
crazy about all of this is that eventually it's going to catch up to all these people that are afraid to be themselves.
Sure.
It's coming down the road. You
I
got
agree.
to be your fucking self.
You have
I
to
don't care who you
lose.
are.
So
Well, that's-
you have to lose half your audience.
Yeah. See, and that's one of the things that I think is so important is just like I said, your authenticity.
Yep.
David Allan Coe ain't losing a fucking person listens
No.
to him. They still like him or they don't like
You
him.
can go to his
Yeah.
underground records.
Yeah.
I mean, his some
He's
of
a
his-
trashy
Oh
bastard.
yeah, I love his music. I mean, all his music. We can go all the way back to that, and
Come
it's crazy.
stains on the pillow.
Yeah, and like the thing for me is like
what?
That's the name of a
no, it is.
song.
Come stains on a pillow. It was a great song too.
Oh wow!
But
Andy's looking at Andy.
he said
me
some
and
other,
Megan are
he
like,
has
what
some
are
other
we-
ones.
Andy and I are
He has some
gonna-
other ones. You know what I'm talking
Yeah.
about.
Y'all do y'all.
But the thing about it, like, I see things so different too in Nashville and being from Florida, from like where I'm from, it's just like this good old boy area, but also being a minority, that's a whole nother thing. Like you come to Nashville and like we were talking about this the other day, but like I'm very big on this. Like just because I have black in me doesn't mean anything. You know what I mean? Like, the listenership of country music is a conservative listenership. Okay, if you have liberal beliefs, okay, whatever, so be it. That's those artists and those people within the industry. But you need to look at the big picture here. So that where my pet peeve comes from, right, as a songwriter and as an up and coming artist, is the fact that there's other minorities, other black, artists out there that are trying to capitalize, like on the BLM, movement. And I can say this, but like, for example, like, I was at the CMAs, you got, I don't know her. I don't care to know her. And I don't care if she hears this, but Mickey Guyton, for example.
I have no idea who that is.
She was like a host on a multitude of different things recently, because she did a song like Black Like Me. Is that what it was called or something?
Yeah, I think that's what.
So that's what it was called, right? It was Black Like Me. So here's my thing. I'm just gonna give you my 2 cents, right? All right, like, so you utilized a situation going on in our country. Right? I don't care if you're black, white, purple, pink, polka dot. I don't care what religion you are. I don't care if you're liberal or Republican. If you are a contributing member of society, maybe I think about this a little different, being an entrepreneur as well, owning my own businesses. I've owned my own businesses. I was 17. I've earned my keep in this country to do what the fuck I want, when I want. And, I write my songs to tell people how I feel. And if you don't like it, well, just like you said to that guy that disrespect you, get the fuck out.
That's right.
You're not my fan. It's okay. We can agree to disagree, but don't ever use your race as a mean of leverage to give yourself a way in to this industry of country music, because by doing so, you're not only, creating a false representation of yourself, you're utilizing the stigma in the media to help propel your career in a negative light. You're not doing it in a positive way, because maybe for the moment it seems good because it's giving you an opportunity, but long term that's not going to be the case. Right. And you can't keep up with it, because what are you gonna do? Come up with like Black Like Me again? Like, I didn't know you got a bucket of black paint and made it darker. You know what I mean? Like, it's just those things like that really bother me, because, and I'm not trying to be on a soapbox, I just think it's really important to understand that country music is country music. The founders, the pioneers of country music were storytellers. I don't care if it's Patsy, I don't care if it's Loretta, I don't care if it's Johnny Cash, Waylon. We can go all the way down. We can go to Johnny Paycheck. I mean, I can take you all the way back.
All the songs told stories.
Right, all of them did. All the way to Hank Singer and before. The oldest, the first ever cut, which most people don't even know, by Columbia Records as a commercial cut, was the Arkansas Traveler.
Really?
And that was an instrumental. That was fiddle. That was, that's way back when. I did a song that's coming out on an upcoming project, and it's called 3 Chords and a Cliche. It's not out yet, but I'll show it to you later. But anyway, I also went as far back as Turkey in the Straw from the 1800s, like to make a point.
Right.
How many people are coming in that are young, male or female, no matter what color they are, but they're doing this. They're pop singers, they're R&B singers, they're hip hop, like rappers, and they're coming in and doing. I get fusion, I get bringing genres together, to create something. Like Jason Aldean did it with Ludacris. Like, it worked,
right.
Because there was a distinct understanding that Ludacris is from the ATL, and Jason Aldean from Macon came together and collaborated, 2 Georgia boys, hip hop culture, country culture, and made a great hit, right? But when you come in and you're using, hey, well, I'm not good enough, because I would get eaten alive, inside hip hop or pop or R&B. So you come into country music and you use that as your platform to go into that demographic of listenership to give yourself a space. I think that's fucked up.
Well, and I think the audience knows, like, you're pandering. You're not being yourself. You're trying to get followers. You're trying to gain influence. You're not giving us anything that's, and it's like you said, like you're people realize, like, they're just a flash in the pan,
right?
If anything, and it like you said, you're a fucked up individual to use this kind of situation that we find ourselves in America right now to try to catapult your career.
Right. Because right now we have so much diversity. Just for example, this is like so random, right? It's kind of off topic, but it's like dairy farmers. There were in 2003, there was like 70,000 plus dairy farmers. Now we're down to like 30-some thousand dairy farmers.
Really?
Operations.
Jeez.
Like 40-some thousand operations closed down. right? And with all these things being mandated, and you got, you know, everything from vaccine mandates, and you got everything from just changing, like, you know, big, these big, like, elitists and big conglomerates coming in, and they're eating up these small family farms because they can't afford it. They don't got the cash flow. They're always they're lucky to operate in the black.
Yeah.
You know, they're rarely in the green. You know, a lot of times they go back into the red, especially like Texas, for example, when y'all had that freeze.
Yep. In February.
You know how much shit fucked up down here?
Oh, yeah.
Y'all were so fucked up you didn't even know how to get on the road. You didn't even know how to clear the road. You had no power. People were dying. Shit was happening. Operations were destroyed.
So I've heard that freeze in February is part of the reason you can't get glass right now because of the resin.
Big reason.
And
Right.
they also make the resin that they're short on. They also make paint. I had to paint a house this summer.
Right. Yeah, my
And-
buddy has a painting thing. He was telling me the same thing because
Yeah.
he was going through Sherwin-Williams, and he was like,
Yeah, they don't have
can't-
anything.
They don't have nothing. He can't even match colors.
Yeah.
Because he can't get the colors on the palette that are supposed to, like, whatever mix to make that color. And then, you know, you got these customers. Obviously, he's losing clientele, so he's losing money.
Yep.
And he's got people he's got to pay. You know, that's the thing is these supply chains, and they close the ports. You know, they don't want to open up the ports. Our governor, smart as hell, DeSantis, was like, you know what? Fuck it. We're going to open up our ports. We're a peninsula. We got the largest sea line in the country. Come on with it. You know?
So
Coastline.
how much can you drink and do a live performance?
Me?
I seen Rodney Carrington one time, and he
was falling
obviously-
down.
He
What's
obviously
the-
had one too many.
Have you had a bad experience? Like, okay, that was too much.
Yeah, I don't play drunk really. I'll get like I'll have
Like a shot?
maybe I'll do like maybe 2 shots and a beer before I get up there.
God almighty.
That's
And
not
I'll-
that much.
Would be for me.
Well,
And
you're a
then like
pussy.
and
Like
I also
slim
bring
skinny.
I usually bring a bottle of Jameson on stage that I'll swig off of here and there. I guess now that I'm saying it out loud, that sounds kind of like a lot, but
She's like, I have 2 of these and one
Wow.
of those. Tell us all the secrets.
This just got dark.
3 lines.
Come on,
of
we're all here
cocaine.
together
No,
right
but like
now.
usually, you know, I'll have like a beer and a shot before we go on stage. It's like the ritual with the band. But I used to play in a bluegrass band actually before I was like a solo country artist, and we played this show in Newfoundland. And I don't know if you guys have heard of this, but there's this thing when you go to Newfoundland, you get screeched in. And it's this whole thing. So screech is basically it's moonshine. It's Newfie moonshine.
Okay.
It's what, moonshine?
It's like
Newfie. So
Newfies.
Newfoundland.
Yeah, people
Okay.
from people from Newfoundland are called Newfies.
Newfies.
I've learned something today.
I didn't know that
Yeah,
either.
so screech is some like crazy proof, like put hair on your chest.
Kinda like
moonshine.
Everclear?
Yeah, no, well, I don't know. Isn't
'Cause, like,
Everclear like a
It's Everclear is
I'm
like
talking
it's
about-
190 proof.
It's
so
like-
yeah.
it's like
whatever it is?
95%.
It's crazy.
So something about finish your story and then I'll tell you about Everclear.
Okay, so yeah, I don't know what Everclear is, but this shit is strong. But you go, it's this whole thing. You kiss a cod and you say this Newfie
You what?
poem thing. A cod.
Okay,
cod.
cod.
It's there,
COD,
it's a
Jeff.
it's a
fish.
fishing
Fish.
village.
Yeah, I know what a cod is. I just
Well, no, I mean, I'm just saying Newfies. Newfoundland is like it's a fishing community, but and we weren't playing until like midnight, and so we got screeched in, and then you know it was like 2 for 1 beers or something at this bar we were playing at. So by the time we got on stage, we're fucking trashed, and it was a disaster. Now, mind you, the crowd was also trashed, and they seemed to enjoy it. But like we got off stage and we're all pissed at each other, like you fucked this up and you fucked this up. So I was like, after that, I'm like, I'm not doing that again. That wasn't even fun.
You know, it's crazy because, first of all, I never think of bluegrass music as a party music, honestly.
Huh,
And
you
I
never
never
came
would've
to our
thought-
show.
I-
You ever
I would've-
seen Old Crow Medicine Show live?
Yeah.
No, I haven't. And I'm sure it is. It just, to me, I always think of older people and banjos.
Jeff, you ever play with spoons?
No.
We had a guy that worked out here that did.
I'm telling
We
you.
did.
Yes, yeah, we did.
We did.
Yeah, he
He-
was.
You can get them things going if
He
you
was
get
an
them
old
going.
he was an old homeless man. We gave him a job out here. He stayed in the skunk house and he would play those spoons.
But you've given a whole nother deal. Bluegrass Festival, kissing cod, and screeching all at the same time.
Yep.
You're doing Newfoundland proud. You're doing Canada proud.
Oh, thank you.
One of the best party stories ever happened in Canada, and it was Janis Joplin with the Grateful Dead. And they were on a Canadian tour by train, and she was on a train with the Grateful Dead.
Yeah.
And she used to get them drunk all the time, and they were somewhere they couldn't get drugs, so they had to drink, and she drank all the boys under the table. So they thought it would be funny. It wasn't Jerry Garcia; it was the other big guy with them. They had a birthday cake make for her, and they put a bunch of acid in it, or LSD, and she was on like a 5-day trip, didn't know what was going on and shit. Fucked her up big time.
Yeah, there's a movie about that. The train thing. What's it called?
Shit, I don't know.
There's like a documentary or
About
something
that story?
about the train. Wasn't it with
It was like a Canadian too. It was like
Yeah.
after Woodstock, and they
Yeah.
would go from Peace River
I
to
forget
something.
what it was called, but it was
The train, Alberta. What am I?
It
looking
was
for?
just a music
was-
festival that they did, but it was a train.
Yeah, they did this whole tour on a train. I forget what it was called.
The
Canadian-
train tour, maybe Canadian train
Janis
tour.
Joplin train story. It'll come up on that because I promise you,
Janice Joplin.
she was a badass
So
too.
anyway, I had a friend, and he said that Old Smoky's moonshine, Old Smoky. So you'll have to. There's certain laws that you have to go by for it to be considered moonshine. It's got to go
Right.
through a certain process. So what they do at Old Smoky's is they take Everclear, they distill it once,
But it's watered down.
and then they just put it in a bottle,
But
then it's
We
moonshine.
are
but
going to
they're-
get sued over this probably.
Well, so their product is not a like it's not a true like. I mean, I understand that the process to quote unquote
They're marketing, selling it.
right. They're marketing that, but
Yeah.
it's not a real like. It's not straight because a lot of their stuff is all flavored.
Yes,
Like
yes.
and their proof ratings are significantly lower. Like my Bangtail whiskey is a higher proof than their Shine in the jar.
Oh, really?
But you
Mine's a 90 proof.
and wonder what theirs is.
I mean,
in
if
the
you,
jar.
I could tell you, like, let's see.
I mean,
let's-
they have some. They're 153. It's like some limited edition.
yeah, but
Which
they're
is 153 proof or
What-
some shit.
But you can make moonshine in 3 days. They make it in the mountains.
so.
for 3 days.
So moonshine is primarily because of the fact it's corn liquor.
right.
That's the key. You know, it's just straight corn liquor. So then that's how you would distill it in like a copper still, and that's what they did in the mountains and things like that. They would use these like backwoods like stills and stuff like that in Appalachian and also coal mining country and stuff.
If you're not a true Southern good old boy, if you don't know who popcorn is off of moonshine.
Shiners, right?
Yeah, you know,
Yeah,
everybody
yeah.
knows it. Do you know who popcorn is?
she's Canadian. Give her a break.
Cut
I
you
am.
break.
I am actually half American. I would like to say.
Well,
I am. My mother's American. I am an American citizen.
it's too late for that. You're Canadian. Like everybody's. You're just,
Do you like American football?
It was the
I do.
Festival Express, 2003 documentary.
That's what it was. Festival Express. Yeah.
Yeah.
So so they had the majority of theirs is 60.
60 proof.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that's what I'm on their website. 60 proof is now they do have the one that's like you just said, which is the 100 plus. They do have the 100 plus, but majorities I'm on here. These are all 60 plus proof.
This one doesn't. We're drinking.
And then the other ones are just flavor apple pie, and that's a 70 proof. But everything else these are all 60 proof or 50 proof.
have either of y'all done that tour, the Old Smoky
Yeah,
tour?
I did it in. I went to
Couple
it's a
times.
Gallenberg.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I did that one downtown.
So they give you like
you get like a flight.
yeah, they give you the gasoline first.
right, right.
And
And
then
they
they're like,
work it-
hey, then take the apple
Yeah.
pie and the
Because
peach
they want
and
you to
all
get
yeah.
that to push the flavor behind it.
Right.
So which is the gasoline? Is that the
It's
old
just
fashioned?
it's a clear.
just
It's
yeah.
just
Just
straight.
old
It's their
straight
clear.
moonshine.
We had some friends that did it, and they were so excited when they got back from the tour. They're like, "You've got to try this. This is the best moonshine. It's apple pie. It's peach. It's cherry. It's delicious. It's the best thing we've ever had." Had it at their house. They're like, "This is fucking terrible."
So it tasted good after the bad shit.
After the bad shit, it tastes fantastic.
Right, because that's what
That's
they
how they
do.
get you.
That's
Yep.
how they do. It's a marketing employee because they add all those different flavors in there, and you're doing these one single ounce.
How the fuck do people walk from these things?
No, because the thing is, they're not.
Not straight.
They're not. They're not. They're not high proof.
it don't matter.
You know,
you
and
take
if you
10
drink-
shots.
Yeah. But a lot of people that they're mini tasters. They're not 2 ounce pours.
I don't know. I was pretty toasted after we
Were
did
you?
it. Yeah.
No, when you do a bang tail, when you do a cocktail
Sure.
show or whatever
Yeah.
it is, you're giving people
I give them a straight.
a straight. I don't even know how many ounces.
I do a
you
straight.
get.
It's a 2 ounce pour.
A 2 ounce pour. And how many of them are they having when they come through the door?
Then most of the times I limit people to 1 or 2. You know what happens usually though. The reason why I'm a little bit more generous on it is because people come in, they'll go through the first round. They get to see the product, the brand. They get the backstory. Then they also get me being there. So I'll either do like bottle signings or they get my personality with it too. So then we start getting to know each other, having a good time. They start buying T-shirts and hats and tank tops. And
so you get them drunk to sell them shit.
well, they're buying shit. You're right. Yeah. Hey, it's a marketing ploy, right? But here's the thing, though. They start buying that. If you buy a $25 hat, or a $20 T-shirt or a $30-some hoodie, why would I not give you a couple more? Because now you're going to do that. Now you're also going to go to the store, buy a bottle. Or if I'm in a place that I'm doing like at a liquor store, then I do the bottle signing at the liquor store. So then they kind of feel like they're getting an added perk because they're not paying for the signature,
Right.
but I'm selling them, making money on the bottle.
I'm gonna change gears real quick. Megan, most unusual person you've met in your career?
Chad Kroger.
No, he's not, he's a pretty normal guy. I've never been asked that before. Most unusual.
It's a tough one, right?
Most fucked
Yeah.
up person you've met. Then, okay, is that better?
She doesn't want a name drop.
Off
She
air,
doesn't
we'll
want a
talk
name
about.
drop.
No, who's the most unusual, eccentric person that you've met?
Eccentric.
Well, I mean, they're all.
No, they're not all. There's somebody more. The guy that used to be the music producer.
I mean, I went out on the road with Dwight Yoakam through Texas.
he's
actually.
a cool dude.
He seems eccentric as hell.
He's definitely eccentric.
I had a guy ask me the other day, Logan Pyatt, I'm going to throw him in. He goes, do you know who Dwight Yoakam is? Oh, fuck yeah. I'm fucking 53 years old. When I was 18 years old, guitars, Cadillacs, and hillbilly music
Do
was...
I know Dwight Yoakam?
Yeah, I
Oh,
couldn't
does
believe
Raggedy
that.
Ann have cotton tits?
Yeah, no shit. I've never heard that. I like that.
You write that one down.
I'm going to. I'm
I'ma
going
give
to
that to you.
use that again.
I'm gonna give that to you.
And I'll make sure you get credit for it.
Thank
so,
you.
Cotton tits.
so Dwight Yoakam's the most eccentric person you've met?
I'm trying to think. It's like, well, I don't want to like throw anyone under the bus, but I mean, I guess that'd be the first person that comes to mind. I mean, there's some writers that I've worked with, but I don't know that they're names that people would know.
He's a cool dude because he's also an actor and has been in some. In Four Christmases, he's excellent.
Sling Blade
Sling Blade.
is
Yeah.
one of my all-time favorite
Yeah,
movies.
it's crazy
Yeah.
that he was. I wonder what happened because like he was transitioning, kinda, but I mean, you did Sling Blade, you did Wedding Crashers,
Four Christmases.
you did four. He was
Oh,
in
Four
Wedding
Christmases,
Crashers also.
yes.
Yeah.
Four Christmases was good.
Oh, fucking the
Yeah.
Reverend.
I
Yeah.
just watched that the other night.
Oh,
That
I
was a good
forgot
one.
what's
you
his
wonder,
name?
like-
Reverend Tim or something.
Yeah, the Reverend. But you wonder
Yeah.
why like that momentum didn't carry on, or was he just not into it?
I don't think he's
wonder.
Yeah.
driven by that shit.
Yeah, I don't think that's really his bread and butter, but
I mean, I like him a whole lot more than I do Tim McGraw.
I've never met Tim McGraw.
But he's a
so-
liberal fuck, so I really don't say that.
Jeff.
He is.
You've done this
Andy.
so many times. You've talked to people. He did this
Do you
not
guys
too long
need to be
ago.
left alone? Should we?
What I do?
He was talking shit about somebody to
then
somebody
all
that
of a
was
sudden
on the
he goes and
podcast, and then they're like, oh well, actually, I know her quite well, and she's a lovely lady.
Oh, I said something about Amberelle. Do you know who she is? She's
Amber L?
Yeah, she's the dark-looking woman that cooks on Food Network all the time.
Oh, I don't know who that is.
She's a miserable person. She doesn't have a penis, and you can tell it really bothers her.
And we were talking to somebody, and
To
Jeff,
another chef,
Jeff's
that knows
spouting
her real
off.
well.
That's Amberelle. You know who Amberelle is.
I
on all the cooking
literally don't
shows?
know who that is.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know who.
Yeah, good, Amberelle. Fuck you. Nobody knows who you are. see?
And then he was talking about how terrible of a person she is, and the
No, I
guy's
said
like,
she was a bitch.
actually, I know her, and she's a sweetheart.
Well,
So I mean, it's just like quit
I would
asking
take it
people
for
these
you.
things.
you know, there's
when she
probably.
called you
I'm sure there's
douchebag,
people out there that say I'm a bitch, and
Just the
they're
guy who
not
got-
always wrong.
Just the guy who got thrown out for wanting to see your titties.
He definitely thinks I'm a bitch. I'm that bitch.
This is the story he tells people at work. Yeah, well,
Mind my own business.
I got hooked up with this old blonde one time, and she kept shaking her titties at me. So I said, "Hey, can I see them?" And she fucking was a bitch to me and had me thrown out of a bar.
Yeah.
He's not telling him you were singing.
Yeah, it's too bad. There's a big old viral video out there.
Well, he don't tell him that either.
Oh, yeah.
At Thanksgiving,
Yeah.
his family that doesn't know that would love to know
Let's
this
be
story.
honest. This guy doesn't have a mother or a father. He wouldn't be acting like that.
So when do you know that this is something that you can do professionally? Is there a moment in time, or is it just you put blinders on and you're like, I'm going for it?
It's a shame
Yeah.
some people never know.
Yeah, I think. I mean, I would say so. I mean, coming out of high school, so I was a competitive snowboarder for many years, like all through high school and into like my first couple years of college. And then I had some really bad injuries. I broke my back and severe concussion.
Where'd you break your back at?
It was lower lumbar
Does it
compression
still fuck
fracture.
with you today?
Yeah, if I sit for a long time or am like standing for a long time. But I mean, I was like 18 when it happened, so it's not bad. But yeah, I ended up going to college to study music. Hated school, but met a lot of really awesome musicians. Started playing in a band with some of the guys I went to school with. That was like kind of my first taste of like really writing songs and playing in bars and stuff like that. And then I ended up dropping out, moved back to Ontario. I'd been going to school in Montreal, and got in another band, which was the Bluegrass Band. And we made a couple independent records and booked, did a couple cross-country tours through Canada. I mean, we did pretty well for ourselves for not having a label or anything. And I just remember the tour, actually, when we played the show in Newfoundland when we got screeched in.
Screeched in, I love it.
We, that summer, I just was like, man, yeah, I don't want to do anything but this for the rest of my life. And that's when I really started taking it seriously and, dropped out of school and just was really broke for a while and just made it work. And then I guess it would have been within maybe 3 years or maybe 4 years after that, I signed my first record deal in Canada. And then about another 2 or 3 years after that, I moved to Nashville and then signed my U.S. record deal. So
The cool thing is you were broke, but you were happy doing what you want.
yeah.
So you don't even know you're really broke. You know you're
Oh,
broke,
because
but
I worked so many
But you're
shitty,
happy.
I worked a lot of shitty jobs, until I signed my publishing deal and my record deal and stuff. I mean, I used to sort empties at the beer store. Let me tell you, it's some nasty shit. They paid fairly well for that job, but it was disgusting. It was a gross job.
What you would
Oh,
do-
right. Canadian thing. So you can only buy beer at, I think it's different now, but back then
Do you
you
need
could
some
only
more?
buy beer, I'm good, at the beer
Brandon,
store.
you good?
And you pay a deposit on your bottles and cans in Canada. So you can bring back the empties to the beer store, and we have to sort them out, and you get a deposit back, which you can either put towards your next purchase or you can get it back in cash. So people would bring in like bins and garbage bags full of cans and bottles. And let me tell you, a garbage bag full of beer cans that have been sitting out in the sun in the backyard of a frat
Sour.
house all summer, and they bring those in, and you got to count them out. Like, it's nasty. And people bring in bottles. There'd be like cigarette butts and like used condoms and God knows what else inside of them.
condom in a bottle.
They stick it over there.
There was like a bunch of frat houses by the store that I worked at, and these kids came in with these bottles, and they were like pushing them up on the rollers, and they got these bottles in the bin, and there's just this condom hanging out the top of this bottle.
Oh no.
I took one. I was really hungover. I took one look at it, and I was like, "Nope, don't get paid enough for this." And I shoved it back, and I was like, "Go, get out." I'm like, "Don't ever bring this back in here
Well, she
again."
don't put up with nobody's shit. I'm
No,
telling you.
get me on the wrong day, and but the
tough.
beauty of the beer store though is that like I could say that, and I wasn't gonna lose my job because I'm like, "What are you gonna do, bud?
Yeah.
You gonna tell me you're never gonna shop here again? Because guess what? The next fucking beer store is 50 miles down in the next 2 towns." So, yeah. So I worked a lot of shitty jobs, and when I started like getting some leeway and starting to make money doing music, it's a pretty awesome feeling, and it
Yeah.
I was like, man, if I just wanted to, I mean, I wasn't completely stupid. I could have gone to school and pursued other things just for money that would have made me miserable. So I would have, I'm like, if I just wanted to do it for money, like, then why bother? But I just do it because I love it.
Does your family worry about you when you're doing all this? Like, you got to have an exit strategy here.
No, my family was really supportive. I mean,
Does that help?
yeah, definitely. I mean, to be perfectly honest, I was doing it one way or the other. I wasn't
Yeah.
asking permission
Right.
or for validation, but it definitely helps. I mean, there were even times where I would be super frustrated and down on myself, and my family would be the ones to kind of pick me back up and be like, "Listen, you got this. You can do it. We believe in you. We're behind you." So I was really lucky. I mean, when I told my dad I was dropping out of college to do this, it wasn't his favorite phone call, but he just kind of said, he's like, "Well,"
I had that phone call twice.
yeah, he said, "Well, look," he's like, "if that's what you want to do," he said, "I'm going to support you, not financially." He said, you're on your own. Like, I'm not giving you money for anything anymore, but like, I'm behind you. And I'm glad he did that because I worked that much harder because I had to. I mean, I busked on street corners and in subways and on sidewalks to make rent and buy groceries, and I worked that much harder for it because I had to. I didn't have a plan B. I didn't have somebody bailing me out. And so I'm grateful that my parents gave me that emotional support, but made sure I had to stand on my own 2 feet too.
Lots of prayers for them. Gosh almighty.
Yeah.
I've got boys. I don't have a daughter. And if I had a daughter that was screeching in Newfoundland and stuff, I would be awful worried. I'm not going to lie. I mean,
Yeah.
seriously, because I worry about my boys even still.
I don't think my dad ever worried about me too much, but
I bet he
probably
did.
more than he let on.
Now, I want to ask you, you said you, I don't remember when you're playing for tips on the side of the road or whatever it's called. I always wondered, like, you go by the places, like we were in Boston just a couple months ago, and there was a guy playing, and he had his. And I always want to ask him, "Hey, dude, just curious, how much money do y'all make in a day? What kind of money does that make? Because some of them corners, them pay pretty good money."
Yeah, I mean, when I lived in Montreal, I made pretty good money. I mean, a bad night, especially if it was cold out and I would just play in the subway. You know, sometimes I might make $30 in a night, but I mean, that was groceries. You know. But on a good day, I mean, if it was nice out, I would go to like one of the main strips on a weekend, on a Saturday or something, and I'd stay out there in the afternoon. I'd make $250, $300.
That's a good day.
So,
is there anybody? Do you have like anybody that's like protection for you? Like you're in a subway here. I mean,
no.
They don't have singing
I got
pips.
these two right here.
Yeah,
She ain't gonna put up with no shit.
No,
anyways.
I'm not
I've already-
saying that, but I mean, you know, you get in a dark alley, and you know, shit happens.
I mean, it was
If I had a daughter, I'd be like,
generally. Well, I wasn't always forthright about exactly what I was doing. What I
you were
was
telling
doing.
Dad, like,
No.
hey, I'm in the subway tonight.
Yeah, I'm going to busk at the subway. I mean, it was.
What do you call
it? Was
it?
pretty busking, like
Busking.
Busking.
That's
yes.
what that's called.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Montreal was pretty safe. Like I knew the areas that were safe, and most of the times the areas where I'd be would be close to the. What do you call it? Like where people would pay for their tickets. So like there was like security. Like there were like designated area. Like it was a thing
Like the will
that
call
people
or
did.
the kiosk.
Right,
Yeah,
I would
like
figure the
there were
street-
designated areas where you could do it.
I figured the street performers would kind of look out for each other, anyways.
Yeah. Sometimes I did have a homeless woman spit in my face once because I wouldn't
Nice.
let her play my guitar. So that was charming.
Golly.
Hey, let me play that guitar.
Yeah, crack's a hell of a drug.
Could have been Bette Midler.
When did you learn how to play guitar as a kid? Or is
No, I didn't. Well, I mean, I kind of messed around with it a little bit in high school, but not much. I was way more focused on sports and snowboarding at the time. And then my parents bought me a guitar as like my graduation present from high school. So when I got into college and I started writing songs, like wanting to write songs and playing in bands, that's when I became more interested in learning. And so I kind of just started teaching myself when I was like in my early 20s. And then it, you know, initially it was just a mode of writing songs. It was just something. So if I wanted to write a song, didn't have to call somebody that could play guitar. I could just sit down and do it. And then I just really grew to love just playing. So yeah.
Have you met any artists? Now, earlier I asked you the centric ones. Have you ever met one that really just really like, wow, I'm getting to meet George Strait or somebody? I mean, I'm just using that you
Yeah.
really were just blown away.
I mean, meeting Dwight Yoakam was a pretty big deal.
That's
for sure.
He's a big star.
I've met Blake Shelton a couple times, and he was pretty cool. Eric Church, but I mean, it's weird. Nashville, once you kind of get into us in there, it's like you kind of see
All the time.
people all the time, and
Yeah,
so you're
right.
you get a little more desensitized to it, and it's like you don't want to. You're kind of like you want to approach them as like a colleague, not like a fan.
Fan,
you know,
right.
so you're
And you
trying
don't want
to
to come
play
off
it
as
cool.
the young guy. Before we get off here, if you could pick anybody to perform with, who would it be? That's alive today.
That's tough. I mean, Eric Church has always been one of my favorite artists, but I mean, of a lot of the like new, like up and coming artists, like
It could be
Morgan
anybody.
Wallen, Hardy, yeah, probably.
Brandon,
I
what
mean,
about
of
you?
anybody of all time,
Yeah.
the Eagles.
Not you know who, Creedence Clearwater Revival.
One fucking Leonard Skinner either, dude, dickhead. Go ahead.
You tell us who you would, if you could pick anybody to play with, who would you like to perform with?
Yeah, I mean, Eric Church was definitely going to be one of the ones that, I mean, he's chief, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Like, but if you're doing like up and coming, like she was saying, I would say for me, it would either be either Co Wetzel, because I just really have a lot of parallels to that vibe, or
I've recently I don't. It's taken me a long time to get on the Cole Wetzel bandwagon, but he's got a lot of fucking good music.
Yeah, he does.
That's all I've been listening to lately.
Yeah, exactly. Or I'd really like to do something with either Coulter Wall or Tyler Childers.
Yeah.
What about all time? Ever?
Ooh, a lot. Right now, Hank Jr.
Oh, he's a badass.
Yeah.
Oh, Bo Cephas.
Ty Childers, he's an unsuspecting guy. You wouldn't expect that voice. Like if you just
Yeah.
saw him walk in that room, you'd be like, "That motherfucker's not singing anything."
Yeah.
That's
And
why
then
I
he gets
like.
up there and he belts it. And he's got such a unique sound about him too.
Because it's almost like a cry. You know,
Yes,
it's like a,
yes.
You could tell he's
Nose
yearning.
to the grindstone.
Yeah,
You
nose
see
to the
those videos on like where
with
he's
the
performing it.
strip session.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
mhm.
Yes.
Yeah, I was listening to that when we were going out this morning hunting.
Really, nose
Yeah,
to the.
we were pulling in and that came on the acoustic
Yeah.
session.
That's crazy.
It hits you. You know?
It does, and like you see his face, you see the facial expressions he
Yeah.
makes, and you're just like,
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. The thing that I like to do is I like to go to YouTube and I like to see other famous guitar players play covers for other people.
Okay, we're gonna get to the next question.
Okay.
Do you think Prince is better than Van Halen?
No,
Eddie
that's
Van
not the
Halen on
question.
guitar?
That's not the
And
question
just
at
guess
all.
which side.
Who is the greatest
Guess who
guitar
I took.
player?
Guess who I took.
Jeff.
Let me guess.
Oh shit.
Who
I
did
mean,
you take?
Now, who do you think I would take
I
between
think you would.
Eddie Van
I think you would
Halen
take
and Prince?
Van
Van
Halen,
that's what I was
obviously.
thinking.
Anybody with a brain would do
That's what I was
that.
thinking. Yeah.
I mean,
Except
I'm
for
not,
Andy over here.
No, listen. This is what happened.
Oh, he's on the wrong side.
All I said was Prince is an underrated guitar player. That was the only thing that I
That
said.
is not all you said.
I
You
didn't
can
say
listen
he
to
was
the
better than Van
podcast.
Halen.
Yes, you
I
did.
said he was an underrated guitar player.
You said he was the greatest guitar player ever. And
I said he was
bullshit.
one of the greatest. Top five.
I'm gonna say this. Prince is a great.
He's a musician.
Here's where Prince was great.
Yes.
Is that
Tell me
he
where I'm
was
right.
he was multifaceted as far as playing every instrument.
100%.
So when it came to coming into sessions where he was playing drums and bass and guitar, that was what made him so special. He was a prodigy in that aspect. Now, but Van Halen, I mean,
You don't have to say nothing else.
all you got to do is say this. All I got to say is one thing. There's only one word I got to say: eruption.
He has no clue who that is. And let me tell you what else he did. This is the funny part. He's arguing Prince. And then I said, Purple Rain. He's never seen the fucking movie. How can you
Why would I
argue
watch
for Prince?
It's a shitty B-rated movie. Why would I
It's
watch the
actually a
movie?
good
It's got
movie.
nothing
It
to
is a
do
good
with
movie.
his
It is a good movie.
guitar
No,
skills.
but I will say this though. But all I gotta say, and I'm just gonna leave it like this: eruption.
Yep, that's right.
Take that cigarette or that joint, and put it at the end,
And play the
and play eruption.
Yep.
And watch that crowd for 8 minutes, 10 minutes. You can't beat that.
And Purple Rain not only shows Prince, but it shows another great musician for that time, which was Morris Day.
Right, correct.
Did y'all listen to Morris Day in Canada ever? No, I knew you'd say that. It's kind of like your bluegrass guy. I had no idea who he was talking about.
So there was another guy that a friend of mine.
We argue a lot on here. Do you notice? But you know what we haven't done? We haven't been politically incorrect. So Nancy Pelosi, you're a cunt. So there we are now.
we can agree on that.
Derrick Trucks.
Oh, are you kidding? He's probably
He's a-
one of my favorite guitar players of all time.
Derrick Trucks is
Absolutely.
really,
Absolutely.
and I guess he was a prodigy. Like, he was 12
solo,
years old.
His solo in Midnight in Harlem is maybe my all-time favorite guitar solo.
I don't know that I've heard that one. I'm not.
I'll tell you another.
Tedeschi Trucks Band,
That was in 2010, right?
Midnight in Harlem.
Yeah.
That solo, I could listen to that guitar solo. Like I love.
Yeah, he was good.
I love slide guitar. He is one of the greatest.
Did you
Midnight
know,
in Harlem?
did you know he was
Greatest.
part of the Allman Brothers?
Yeah.
Yeah, back in '99.
Yeah, and he was like
He was-
12
he was
whenever
a
he joined
prodigy.
that way.
Yeah.
He was.
You
He's
said
a badass.
live on E-Town.
Actually,
Songwriter.
I got to open for him with my bluegrass band.
Wow.
I got to open for Tedeschi Trucks Band at the Toronto Jazz Fest.
That's crazy.
And you want to talk about eccentric? He is.
Is
He
eccentric?
is. Yes.
So there you go. There's their eccentric.
He's very quiet and very eccentric.
Which
but
one am I looking for here? Is it
Midnight in Harlem.
the
I mean, I don't
live
know,
on
but I don't know
E-Town?
if it's the live version. It's probably the recorded version, but
Okay, well I'll just do Midnight in Harlem. So
yeah,
he's-
I don't know if he would. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure he probably plays. Yeah, that second one down.
and there's a guitar solo in here.
It's one of my favorite guitar solos of all time.
Oh, well, we're gonna have to get past
Get
that.
through
I'm glad
to
your
add.
your search engines have changed from the last time we did one of these.
Boy, that's no shit, Jeff. You never know what you're gonna have to search.
This is also just a great song.
I don't know that I've ever heard it.
This is one of my favorite songs ever. I don't know. Let me see if I can find out when the guitar solo.
I was gonna
is.
say what minute is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we don't have to.
Or maybe you could just type in guitar solo.
Yeah, maybe I could probably do that. That'd be the easiest.
Yeah.
Right? There it is, right there. We'll see him play it live.
There you go.
That's my jam. That's what I like to do. Is that him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's not Eddie Van Halen, but he's pretty good.
Yeah, Van Halen's still better for sure.
But he was 12 years old whenever I guess he started with the Allman Brothers. He was a young kid.
Yeah.
What a talented individual.
That does. That kind of thing, it gets me going.
I mean, his.
we gotta
Yeah,
all right.
we go. Y'all have been.
Just go listen to the recorded version, that
I will.
guitar solo.
I gotta go pick up my kid here in a minute. And when I'm on the way,
I think we gotta
I'll,
go kill some stuff here
I'll
soon.
listen to it.
Yeah.
I appreciate y'all being on here.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Y'all go see
Appreciate
your YouTube. What's your site or your?
It's just Meghan Patrick, Meghan Patrick, Meg Patrick Music on Instagram and Twitter, and yeah.
Brandon
Brandon Bing Music.
and Bangtail Whiskey.
Bangtail Whiskey.
Thank y'all for listening to us. God bless y'all. Have a great day.
Oh, there it is. Had to find the button. All right, ladies and gentlemen, go check out all of our wonderful sponsors. Check out Bangtail Whiskey. Check out Shin Gear Waiters, Steak Plains Meats, Pacific Calls, Dive Bomb Industries, Boss Shot Shield, Dirty Duck Coffee, Lucky Duck, Goose Creek Retrievers, Gun Dog Outdoors, Looking Glass Duck Club, Eyesight Drones, Stanfield Outfitters.